about Sensible. I created Sensible half a year ago because I wanted to solve many of my frustrations. I was so frustrated with the fact that with every new project I started, I had to research all the new things and the perfect way to set up this new boilerplate. Every time I started the Sensible project, I had to research that. So that took me a lot of time every time. That's just a waste of time, right? So besides that, yeah, setting up the boilerplate after doing all the research, it was hard to get all the configuration right and to do code sharing like the way you want it inside of a mono repo. It's not easy to do. So that also took a lot. And I knew should be a better way. The third reason I was frustrated is that there's not really a one size fits all for apps. Sometimes a web app is better, sometimes you need an Expo app, sometimes you want a GraphQL server, sometimes you want REST. There's so many choices to make. And I wish that there was sensible defaults for everything, for creating any app. And yeah, the last reason I was so frustrated after all these years is that it's just very hard to maintain and not create tech debt after you leave a project. It's just very hard because there's not really a lot of incentive for me whenever I do a project to create docs. It's boring, it's repetitive, and you don't really need it until after you leave. Because when someone else has to take over your project, they have to learn a lot, and it's very hard for them. That's why it was always very hard to leave projects, and I wish that was easier. So that's why I came up with Sensible. I wanted a way to have sensible defaults. I wanted a way to easily walk through from idea to launch. So it would be much easier to launch a new project. And I wanted a code base that's more maintainable, of course, you know? So that's why I created React with Native and Sensible, two frameworks. And Sensible it actually contains React with Native in the front end. And yeah, that's what I did. So what does it do, Sensible? Well, Sensible sets up a full stack boilerplate in minutes. That's one. It structures your app into three layers. The backbone layer, where you define all your definitions of endpoints and type model interfaces for the models. The shared layer, where you have the UI and the server with the endpoints. And the app layer, where you create any front-end app, like Expo or Next.js apps. So it also includes React Next App, Create Next App, and Create Expo App by default. And it also lets you share code, front-end code, between Expo and Next App. So that makes it very convenient to work with. Besides that, I think the biggest advantage is that you have complete type safety between the front and back end. You have API functions. By default, it is created for you, an API function and a make endpoint function that take over the type definitions of your core and use them to give you complete type safety in those functions. So what that means is that you basically don't have to think about anything when you call an API. When you just call the API function, and you will see all the endpoints that are available and their exact type definition. There's a single place where you define all your interfaces and types and endpoints in the core. And because of that, Sensible will automatically generate development documentation for your endpoints and type interfaces. So that's it. That's Sensible. Hope you like it. Hope you try it. See you in the next one.